had something in your life that really just kind of it's like something that from your childhood that you just kind of hold on to forever? Like for me, it's Pokemon. For the guy in the story, it's Noodles. What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you a anime review for the Netflix anime movie Flavors of Youth. Okay, so this one is actually a pretty interesting one. It's not a bad movie. It's a movie made by the guys at Comix Wave, the guys who bring you all the Shinkai movies, but it's not necessarily a Shinkai movie. It's actually made in conjunction with the guys that do all those Chinese animus that you see that are getting better, but they're not exactly on point yet. And you can kind of tell in the writing of this movie. Flavors of Youth actually follows 3 stories. The first one being about a young man who basically enjoys this seasonal noodle dish with his grandmother. And as his life progresses and, China itself progresses, the noodle dish changes. And this is supposed to represent not just the change in the noodles, but the change in life and change in people as things begin to progress. And as progress begins to change things slowly lose that heart for convenience sake. Then the second story involves a young model who I also don't remember her name, and her little sister who lives with her. And basically this one is kind of similar to the first one. So it's about the model struggling with the fact that she's getting older in an industry that is driven by youth. Like, I mean, you don't really see too many older models. I mean, there are some out there who they just, get better as they age, but it's not something that happens to everybody. And she is struggling with that fact, seeing as though modeling has been the center of her life for so long, and she really can't see herself not doing it. Not to mention, she really wants to support her little sister. And basically how she comes to terms with that. And the third story is probably the most interesting one. It follows Limo and Zayu. Okay, remember those names because that's gonna come back later in the video. But it's basically kind of like a cheesy high school love story, and they kind of it's a story about high school friends that kind of evolves into a love story. And they relay messages by cassette tape, because this was back in the cassette tape days where you can make mixtapes and stuff. And they used to tape messages and they used to pass them to each other. And of course, misunderstandings happen because romance, drama, that's just what you do. And, they grow up and they grow separate ways and things happen. Now, this one they're very interesting stories. They're very well done. Like you can see that these are the guys who do Shinkai work, but they just didn't have Shinkai budget. So you can see it all looks good. Like I literally want noodles every time I look at this movie. And I'm not even a huge fan of noodles, but I want some noodles now. But yeah, like audio visually, the movie looks really good. The stories can be very cheesy at times, particularly the last one. And speaking of the last one, Limo, my god, his English voice actor.
It's not like that. I just want to try to prove to everybody else that I can do it.
Dude, I know you come from these teen shows that come on like CW, but one part of being an actor is you need emotion. Bruh, it sounded like he did this whole recording session in one day when he was on Prozac or something. Like I'm sorry, he does not emote. Emote, sir. I'm a simple YouTuber. I know how to emote my voice sometimes, But yeah, dude doesn't emote, and it makes you laugh. You're not trying to laugh. You're supposed to be into this romance, but he keeps pulling me out every time he says a horrible line.
I'm serious. I'm getting into the Yangpu affiliate school, and then I'm going to Yangpu University.
And it's another thing, it does kind of lack that kind of grittiness that you get from some Shinkai movies. Maybe not something like, well, I mean, you do kind of get it, even in something like Your Name. People die in Your Name, okay? A meteor hits the town and people die. Okay, so it's like, you get that kind of realism from Your Name that you don't necessarily get from this show. You get it a little bit in this movie. I keep calling it a show, but you get it a little bit in this movie, you know, and like maybe the first story, but everything is wrapped up pretty clean. Like, it's not like in some of his other movies, like say Garden of Words, or, you know, something like that, where things are wrapped up, but it's not like cheesy Disney type of wrapped up, you know? Like happily ever after, we all gonna get on the plane. It's, yeah, I have to say, you know, it's not a bad movie, but I have to give it a C. So that's about it for this one. I hope you like this review format. I mean, I kind of want to go back to pros and cons, even though those take longer to write. But I kind of like it better. But if you guys like it, I'll continue it, because it's actually easier to just kind of like write out my ideas and tell you the way I think about the show, about the movie or the anime, than to, you know, do the pros and the cons. And it's a bit more structured that way. This one is a bit more off the cuff, I guess you could say. But tell me which way you like it in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, folks, keep it real.
So your parents get to choose your whole life for you, huh? Then do whatever you want.
Oh, hey, Limo.